Are you a multifamily investor, entrepreneur, and/or aspiring podcaster, and you struggle with growing your audience, having an audience, and/or growing your platform? If you answer yes to all three of those questions, this video is just for you, because today we're going to talk about why every podcast has an audience, yet every podcast has a start from somewhere. So we're going to get started with that, and this is going to be a phenomenal conversation topic and episode today. So welcome to the Phase Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Terrell Humphrey. And over the last half a decade, we've produced over 893 podcast episodes while helping 23 entrepreneurs launch their podcasts with confidence. And the biggest thing that I've learned while being on this journey is that every podcast has an audience. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and get it started, because this is going to be a great episode today. Oh, not that one. Okay, there we go. Every podcast has an audience. Point number one, what does that mean? Don't recreate the wheel. Don't recreate the wheel. So what this means is this. I recognize this. So yesterday, I'm in school for business management, and I'm in international business, and we got to watching this video about Legos and how, like, the CEO, the new CEO who came in, they went and go speak to the customers, speak to the existing customers. And as I was watching it, I was like, let me do some research on my existing customers, since they are already there. I went to a website and it had 300 plus attendees at this event. And when I looked at it, I said, there's already an audience. There's already people here. There's already people showing up. And what my struggle was trying to recreate the wheel, trying to create my own audience. Now, don't get me wrong, creating your own audience is very important. You have to create your own audience in addition to you going to other audiences. Nonetheless, every podcast has an audience because it's already built in. 300 plus attendees, DEES, means what? It means that there are already customers there. Hold on. It made sense yesterday. I was like, I thought that actually makes sense. So hold on. 300 plus attendees, NDES. And what that taught me was this. I'm like, what if I start to get connected with people in this community? What if I go to the 300 plus attendees? I might not speak to every last one of them, but what if I approach it differently? Every podcast has an audience, because you never know the size of the audience that you are speaking to. But when you speak to somebody, or when you speak in front of people, people start to listen to you. And it's starting to make sense now. It's starting to make a lot of sense now. So every podcast has an audience because it took time. 3, 6, 9. It took time for them to establish this audience. It took time for them to establish who they are serving. It took time for them to understand how to serve their audience. And I tell you this, the biggest thing that I just recognized was that I was trying to recreate the wheel, because I was trying to figure out what my audience was, what my customers were. Now, overall, like, my overall customers are entrepreneurs. We talk about business, talk about marketing, talk about podcasting, talk about sales, talk about leadership, talk about all these different things. Now, underneath that, there's a terminology called sub-market. And what that is a smaller niche. And what I recognized over the last couple of weeks is that my smaller niche of customers that I'm serving are multifamily investors. Entrepreneurs, then I have multifamily investors. So then, when I go online and I'm looking for different communities, I go in the Facebook group and I find communities for multifamily investors. Then I'm like, okay, there's something here. There's an audience that's already there. That audience consists of people who's doing the business that you would like to do. And what this taught me is this, is that don't recreate the wheel, understand the wheel that you are in. What are you doing? Who are you serving? What problem are you solving? When I start to recognize that we was helping multifamily investors launch, edit, and produce their podcasts, I figured out that a lot of multifamily investors are not good with technology. I was even struggling with a technology issue yesterday, and I was like, man, this should not be taking a long time, like taking this long. Then it registered like, wait, hold on. This is the exact problem that my customers have. Like, I solved the technicality issues to help the customers I'm serving launch their podcast, edit their podcast, and produce their podcast. Why? Because it's not just about communicating, putting yourself out there. It's literally about speaking to your customers. It's literally about meeting your customers where they're at, because your customers can be in the car while they listen to you in the podcast. That your customers can be cleaning the house while they listen to the podcast. Your customers can literally be entertained by you as you are educating them. You see, what this taught me is that now that I have the foundation of the problem that I'm solving, now I'm going out to speak to more people. And how this helped me in business is that now, as I go out and speak to multifamily investors, I'm asking questions pertaining their marketing strategies. I'm asking questions pertaining how are they constantly getting clients and new deals. I'm going out to marketing multifamily investors to understand, like, how are you constantly showing up online? My lane is my lane, so I'm not going to recreate the wheel. There's been multiple different people who's been in business, who's doing similar things. In fact, yesterday I saw it online. I'm like, man, these companies already exist. There's already podcast studios here. There's always podcast productions. Oh, okay. Now I get it. I get it because of this. It's always your audience is already there. What happens is that you have to create your own audience around the similar audience that other people have. What does that consist of? My audience are entrepreneurs. Like, overall, like any business that, like anyone that's doing business, like you're my audience. My customers are multifamily investors. Those are the people who are going to be paying me. What the difference is this. Is that the audience is going to grow the platform. The customer is going to fund the platform that's being grown. So it's not just about having a podcast. It's about meeting your customers where they are at. If you can meet your customers online, if you can meet your customers in person, if you can meet your customers at events, if you can meet your customers at groups, you can meet your customers where they are at. And it starts to register like, oh, that's the importance of online. You're meeting your customers where they are at. And as you meet them where they are at, the problem that you're solving, you can literally ask, how are you marketing yourself? How are you putting yourself out there? Are you getting enough customers? Or are you just cold calling? Or how much time and effort are you putting into it? Yes, I get it. It's a numbers game. However, what if you put the numbers into content creation, marketing, putting yourself out there, then eventually the numbers will work in your favor. The numbers will work in your favor because now people start to come to you. In addition to you reaching out, people start to come to you. In addition to you reaching out, people start to come to you. Why? Because that cycle of getting customers and finding customers never ends. And it's a new cycle that begins. A new cycle is that your customers start to find you where you are at. And I was like, man, let me try to figure out, like, what exactly am I doing? Like, I've taken many different breaks, but not because I didn't know what I was doing, but I needed to be sure on how to solve the problem. What steps do I need to follow? What systems need to be in place? What website need to have? What funnels need to have? What ads do I need to run? You see, I've taken the break not because I was unsure of the content. I've taken the break because I want the content to be here. And so when people start to opt in or say, I want to learn more about podcasting, they have a place to go. They have somewhere to go. Now the sales process has started because when you start to watch the content, you're in the sales process. If you get educated around podcasting, you start to get in the sales process. What is the sales process? The sales process, to my understanding, process is awareness. I don't know all the steps, but I know the first step is awareness. People have to be aware. Hold on. People have to be aware of the problem that you solve. My wife and I was watching a show yesterday. And as we was watching the show yesterday, during the commercial break, they had different companies advertise their business. And if they didn't advertise their business, I'm like, Well, how do we know that they exist? So as they are advertising, talking about their business, they explain what the problem is, what problem that they're solving. So when I start to recognize that every podcast has an audience because every podcast is solving a particular problem. Every podcast has a problem that they are solving. For instance, with Failure's Knowledge, the problem that we're solving is that we help in turn the setbacks into success. What does that actually mean? We're talking about the entrepreneurship journey. How does it feel to be unsure about the decisions that you made? How did you know the decision that you was going to make was going to actually help you in business? How did you know that you was positioning yourself different from everybody else? You see, it's not just about the success. It's about the journey. Every moment, every entrepreneur that goes through that journey goes through similar exact things. From my understanding, from the conversations that I had and from the videos that I watch, a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs go through the journey of figuring it out, go through the journey of pivoting, go through the journey of making sure that they understand their customers. Why? Because when you have awareness, you understand the problem. The problem is getting people to say, I have this issue, can you help me? And it took me a long time to recognize what problem I was solving. And now that it was like, oh, this is the problem that you're solving. You're solving this problem because a lot of multifamily investors are not good with marketing themselves. Yes, they good at getting referrals. Like a lot of people that come in contact with that be like, they use the terminology dinosaur. I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't understand what that means. They was like, man, I'm a dinosaur. I'm like, I have no idea what that means. So I asked. So I'm like, what does that even mean? They was like, man, I have no idea how to use this technology stuff. This technology stuff is too much. I'm a dinosaur because it takes too much to learn. And I'm like, great perspective. Great perspective. So when we help multifamily investors launch their podcast, we're helping them remove the stress. We're helping them remove the overwhelmness. We're helping them remove the hesitation. Why? Because all you got to do is sit down and communicate, and then we take care of the rest. We record, we edit, we publish, we upload. The only thing you have to do is sit and communicate and then look at the numbers. How many people are watching? How many people are interacting? How many people are engaging? How many people are reaching out? How many people? I found the lane that we are in. Every podcast has an audience. So instead of me trying to recreate the wheel, I'm creating the similar wheel to my own business. If I see an opportunity and I go out and pursue this opportunity, I will be able to solve more problems for multifamily investors to launch their podcast with confidence. But before I do that, I have to go where they are at. Point number 2, and this is actually perfect segue, is that you have to meet your customers where they are at. Why? Because your customers, some people say that my customer's not online. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no way your customers is not online. Your customers are online. You just have to figure out how to communicate with them. I give you a prime example. I'm setting up Facebook ads, right? Excuse me. And I've created 10 different pictures and formats. And as I was creating it, I was like, okay, I want this to say and focus on the core problem that we are solving. I don't want it to be customized and say different random things. Like, no, I want it to be standardized so that way whoever come into my world, my ecosystem, they know what we do. Like, we help multifamily investors launch their podcast with confidence. What does that consist of? We have you launch, edit, and produce your podcast. When I start to get more clarity, my focus in the customer became more clear. Why? Because I know the problem that I'm solving. When I meet the customers where they're at, some people might be online, some people might be in person, some people might be in communities, some people might be in different places. But if I go where they are at, I'm meeting them where they're at instead of them having to come to me. Why? Because the wheel has already been created. So this is the wheel. So if I'm coming in trying to create the wheel in a different way and miss the opportunity, see, this wheel is different than this wheel. The difference is that I was recreating the wheel. The wheel don't need to be recreated. It just needs to be adjusted. As it's adjusted, I go to meet where my customers are at. So then when I go online, I'm like, okay, are people actually even talking about this? Like, are there communities, are there groups, are there places, are there events with multifamily investors? And guess what? There are a lot of multifamily investors, and I see the opportunity. Hold on. Investors. And I just recognized something important. I've been communicating with my customers for a long time, and I just didn't recognize that they was my customers. Ooh. Hold on. What did I just say? Meet your customers where they're at. I'm starting to meet my customers where they're at. So I'm about to start going to events. I'm about to start going to networking events. I'm about to start going to Facebook communities. I'm about to be where they are at because I want to meet the customers where they are at instead of them having to come to me. Because if I go to them, I'm bound to talk to them because I'm putting the time, energy, and effort to communicate what their problem is when it comes to online marketing or podcasting. And what I recognize is that it's not just podcasting, it's literally online marketing, but my niche is podcasting. And that's the difference because a lot of people do social media marketing. A lot of people do Facebook advertising. A lot of people in fact, that's where I started. I started in social media marketing, advertising, Facebook marketing, like all these different things. But then as I got more clear behind what I was doing, I was like, what is the low hanging fruit? A lot of my mentors, some of my mentors was like, what's the low hanging fruit? I'm like, I don't even know. Low hanging fruit. What's the low hanging fruit? And I'm like, what does that even mean? That was like, how are you getting customers now? How are you getting awareness now? How are you actually attracting the attention that you're looking to attract? I'm like, podcasting. I'm like, podcasting. People are reaching out because I'm showing up. So then, what if I get more intentional, not only just show up, but communicate with the people who follow up with me? You see, there's a difference between growth and understanding my customers. The difference is that I'm not guessing who my customers are no more. I know exactly who my customers are. So now I have to go to them, have to communicate with them, have to express to them, have to understand what problem that they are solving when it comes to marketing. When it comes to marketing, that was the just like with earlier I talked about entrepreneurship audience, and then my niche is multifamily. So just like with marketing, you can do so many different things in marketing. You can do a lot of different things in marketing. Like it's a lot. So then I'm like, how can I narrow down my focus? What do I need to do? What can I focus on? So I'm like, okay, marketing consists of social media. Okay. It consists of advertising. Let's see, flyers, etc. Like, there's different ways to get people to your world. And so I was like, okay, what if I focus on what's already working, which is the podcast. The podcast took a long time to work, but since it's working now, it's like, what if I just continue to do that? So instead of me asking, like, have you ever thought about launching a podcast? That should not be the question, because that's too narrow, that's too niche, that's too focused. But what if I come and ask the multifamily investor, how are you marketing yourself? How are you getting new customers? How are you positioning yourself as the authority? The questions are different because I'm speaking about marketing. The questions are different because I'm not talking about a particular problem that I'm solving just yet. I'm trying to understand, like, do you even have this problem? Are you even struggling with this problem? Have you even tried to overcome this problem? And when I woke up this morning, it gave me more clarity. I was like, oh, I got it now. Because it's not just about podcasting, it's about marketing yourself as the authority so people can come into your world and either become customers, partners, investors, all these different things. But you have to be the one that puts yourself out there. In the beginning of the episode, I talked about how every podcast has an audience. Yes, that is absolutely true, which means that the people are looking for your services. They are already looking for your services. They're already looking for your products. You just got to speak the language that they understand. And as I start to understand that my customers were multifamily investors, now I'm starting to position myself differently. Why? Because I'm about to meet them where they're at. I'm about to stop going to random events, but I'm going to go to specific events. I'm going to go to specialized events. I'm going to go to tailored events. Why? Because I want to meet my customers where they're at. If I go to a place and it has 300 plus people, I don't have to, I don't have to market, spend money, all these different things. And in fact, it makes sense for the speaking engagement course that I attended with 10X and the Speakers Academy with Jeremy Anderson, ET, and all these different people. You go meet them where they're at because they are already at the location of community. Like they're already in the community. And so that just blew my mind. If there's 300 people here and I go to them and I approach them, some people might have a larger platform online. Some people might have a bigger presence online. But what that means is this: they already have an audience. Podcasting already has an audience. For the audience that you're looking to serve, there are already people serving your customers. Now it makes sense from all the books that I've read about marketing. Like they talk about that, and I was trying to figure out, like, first thing first, like, who is my customer? I didn't recognize who my customers were. But then, like, over time, I'm just like, okay. Why is this important? How is this different? How can I do it better? How can I do it a lot more? So I was like, okay, podcasting gonna be the way, because I'm not just talking about doing podcasting. I'm removing the stress, the overwhelm, the hesitation, and literally helping you grow an online presence to help your audience come to you. And I was like, that's it. That's it, because I'm meeting my customers where they're at. They don't understand podcasting, but they understand marketing. They don't understand content creation, but they understand how to put themselves out there. They don't understand online media, but they understand in-person connection. So when I meet my customers where they're at, I'm in person connecting with them. So when I meet my customers where they're at, I'm not recreating the wheel. I'm using the wheel that's already created, because they already have people in the community. And that's when I, like today, in fact, I'm like, that's it. That's what I was missing. I was missing it because I was trying to recognize who my audience were. Now that I found that, now I'm going to go about serving them. Last point that we want to talk about is this. And this is the challenge right here. This is the challenge, because I know it's the challenge. But this point is that you have to show up consistently. And I woke up this morning, I was like, man, like, I think I'm not gonna take a break, but I was like, I probably ain't gonna record today. But I was like, hold on. It registered. I was like, hold on. Why are people reaching out to you? Because I'm showing up. Why are people communicating with you? Because I'm consistent. Why are people asking to get onto your podcast? Because I'm putting my podcast out there. People can't know about your business if you're not putting your business out there. It's kind of like that was good. People can't know about your business if you're not putting your business out there. It can be a personal business, or it can be your own business, like your own establishment. People can't know about the business that you're operating if you're not talking about the business that you are working on every single day. And that's when it hit me, like, oh, show up consistently is to market yourself effectively. When you market yourself effectively, you stand out. When you market yourself effectively, you are consistent. When you market yourself effectively, people start to recognize you. They start to recognize you, start to listen to you, they start to get on your calendar, they start to book calls, they start to schedule meetings. Why? Because you're the one that's showing up. There's this group, and it's called the School of Hard Knocks. And they go out interviewing people, all these different things. And I was like, man, okay, what are they doing? Okay, they just going out talking to people, celebrities, all these different people. Okay, cool. But what are they actually doing? They are showing up. They are marketing. They are connecting. They are building relationships. They are building relationships. In business, you got to market yourself. In business, you got to connect with others. In business, you got to build relationships. So they're doing it at the scale because people are watching them. They're doing it at scale at a bigger pace because they are constantly showing up. They're doing it in a way where as they are showing up, people start to say, I've seen you interview my friend and let's do the interview. And for a long time, I'm like, I don't understand what they are selling. And I'm like, man, I just don't, because with me, I just don't want to go out there and just have random conversations. But I was looking at it wrong. It's not random conversations. It's marketing. It's marketing yourself. It's documenting yourself. It's expressing yourself. Because a lot of people struggle with putting themselves out online because they don't want to be judged. However, when you put yourself online and people start to learn more about your business starts to thrive because you're no longer the best kept secret. You are the one that's the authority. You're the educator. You're the one that has the business, that's operating as a business, and they are coming to you. Why? Because showing up consistently is the key. You can't have a business if you're not marketing yourself. You can't have a business if you're not connecting with others. You can't have a business if you're not building relationships. And that was the biggest thing that I was struggling with. I'm like, okay, what relationships do I need to build? What relationships do I need to build? I'm good with people. I'm good with connecting. I'm good with building relationships. But there's a strategic way to go about establishing your business. First, you got to identify your customer. I've identified my customer. I have the clarity behind it. And now I just have to go out and communicate with my customers and understand what problem are you, when it comes to marketing, what are you struggling with? Are you only getting customers based off of word of mouth? Are you only getting customers based off of referrals or cold calling? Like, how are you marketing yourself to grow your multifamily investing business? Because now I'm coming in to solve a problem around marketing. Not around podcasting, but around marketing. Why? Because I'm speaking the language they understand. They understand marketing, but they don't understand podcasting. They understand referrals, but they don't understand online marketing. Like, because online is literally massive. I talked about earlier how this online event had 300 plus attendees. Every podcast has an audience, right? So that 300 can turn into 30,000 people just because of online. And I'm like, that's different. That's different because this is not just about connecting in person, is meeting your customer where they're at, because this 30,000 people or the 300 people can potentially turn into customers who are going to pay you. And that's when I start to understand, like, I found my lane. It's not just about podcasting, it's about marketing yourself effectively. How do you market yourself so your customers can come and find you? How do you market yourself so your clients can come find you? How do you market yourself effectively so you can close more deals? It's through marketing. Not just through podcasting, it's through marketing. Oh my God. So just to recap everything that we talked about today, Don't recreate the wheel. There's already a wheel that's already created. Find a way to get inside of the wheel and start talking about the problem where they will understand it. Point number 2 is to meet your customers where they're at. Go to where they are at instead of having them come to you at first. And when you do that, you can understand the problem that they're going through. Last point number 3 is to show up consistently. You can't be in business if you're not showing up every day doing your business. And so if you're a multifamily investor who struggle with the online presence, with marketing yourself, shoot us an email, shoot us a message, and we definitely look forward to helping you with you soon. Lastly, don't be afraid to fail, because failure is knowledge.